What's going on, fam? So in today's video, I picked up some detent springs, some transmission detent springs for the FA5, and the detent springs are right here from Hybrid Racing, and we're gonna install them today. So first things first, and also before I get into this video, guys, if you need a link to the detent springs or to Hybrid Racing's website, links are down below. And yeah, let's get to the video. So first things first, you're gonna want to jack up your car. I got her jacked up a little bit right now. I made a mistake and I didn't take off my wheel, but I'm not even gonna bother with that right now. So jack up your car. You could take your driver's side wheel out, and you'll see why once I get to this job. But if you don't really necessarily have to, but definitely jack up your car. And after you get your car jacked up, you're gonna want to support your transmission. So get another jack or put this car in stands and swing that jack under there with like a 2x4 or something to support your transmission a little bit. And reason being is in order to get to the detent springs, you need to take off your transmission mount. So you have to support the tranny so there's no strain on it. So this is what it's gonna look like. So I have the 2x4 and it's supported underneath the transmission right there. And key to this, guys, is you don't really want to jack up the transmission because you'll probably blow a seal or something. You mainly just want to support it, so ever so slightly just put some pressure on it. Make sure it's held up, but just put as little amount of pressure as you can on it in order to just get it stable so it's going to hold in place. But now that you got that, I already got some of this stuff done, but you're going to have to take off your intake. My intake's already out. It's going to free up all of this space right here. You might want to... I took out my ECU just to be safe, just to get some out all those bolts. If you have like a wrench or something, you could probably fit in there, but to be safe, I just took out the ECU, put that in somewhere safe, inside the car, so you don't want that thing getting damaged. And then I unplugged the 3 plugs that go into the ECU. And other than that, I took my battery out, but that's for a different reason. You guys will see that in a different video, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, once you get your intake out, and possibly if you want to undo the ECU bracket and the ECU, you have all this area freed up. And once you got all that, we're gonna go after the tranny mount and take her out, and I'll show you guys that right now. So I'm starting with the top bolt right here on top of the transmission. On top of your tranny mount. And that is going to be your only 19 mil for the tranny mount. So basically, you just want to unbolt this one first. You could do other bolts, like start with this one or whatnot, or something over there. But I just start with the 19 right here because the rest are 17s. So you'll just be using the same socket. So let's crack this bolt. First bolt right here, keep them somewhere safe, you don't want to lose them. Then nextly, you could pull out your 17 mil and start attacking these bad boys. So, start with this one right here. You got another one in the back right there. You got 2 right there, and I think, oh yeah, I already took this one out, but there was another 17 that goes right there. Just pulled out this bolt, and the nut actually came right out with the stud. So if that happens to you guys, don't worry. You can just put it back in with the stud after. So don't worry about that. Now you got the bolt in the back. 17 mil nut. And then in order to get this side one, what I did is I unbolted this the bracket right here. I'm just kind of gonna go right in between there. Just be careful you don't damage nothing. Yeah, this is just a regular bolt. And you got another one of those, And guys, don't forget about this back one that I already took out. After you get that nut on there, there is a another bolt right there, and that's another 17 mil. Already took that one out, and you got another 17 mil right here. Gonna want to make sure you got a couple extensions on hand, and probably recommend even using a breaker bar on these bolts. Probably make the job a lot easier. Another 17. Take this part off right here, guys. Make sure you got the right side. Don't want to swap the sides. This side goes on the bottom, this side goes up. Keep your 19 mil nut on there. Might even give this one some paint right here just to make it look a little new. It's all rusted. Might clean it up, paint it black. Now guys, here's where I was talking about. You might want to take off this wheel, but you do not have to. So there's a bolt in there. You see that one? Yeah, the one right there where the line is. So guys, I went to Harbor Freight and just picked up some of these long box wrenches, and with that you can literally fit it. You can literally fit it right in there. Yup, just like that. And this will give you a lot of leverage on this. You can just crack it free. Mine's already cracked free because I needed 2 hands for this. But if you can't go through the top, you could also go through the bottom. You could also go through the bottom of the car to reach it. I don't have my car jack enough to show you guys, but you could also reach that bolt through the bottom. I personally just think it's a lot easier to go through the top. Just grab like a long wrench or something, and you could get that off. Even with a smaller box wrench, you could probably get it, but it might be harder because you want to have as much leverage. But that is also a 17 mil back there. So this was that last 17 mil, and just to give you guys a better idea, it's right there. If you have a ratchet wrench, it's probably going to help you out greatly. So I'd recommend picking up one of those 17 mil ratchet wrench. And training mounts out right here. Make sure you guys keep it the way it comes out of the car, just so it'll be easier reinstalling it. And then obviously once you got your mount out, you have your detent. The detent springs are now are ready to come out. So you got 3 bolts right here. 1, 2, 3. I believe these are 12 mils. I'll tell you guys in one sec, but pretty sure these are 12 millimeters. Also guys, the main purpose of these detent springs is to stiffen up your shifts. So basically, it'll make it like almost like there's more resistance when you're going to each gear, but they'll go in smoother, and it should like prevent grinding and whatnot because they should go right into gear. And like I said, it's definitely going to stiffen up your shifter a little bit. So and you'll see why in a sec. The detent springs from Hybrid Racing are longer than the OEM ones, and I think they might even have a stiffer spring rate. So that's what stiffens it up. So yeah, they're indeed 12 mils. Got this one cracked already, and we're gonna pull out this detent spring. You guys can see what I'm talking about. So be careful when you take these out because there's a spring and a ball in there. So spring's coming right out with it. And as you guys see, there's a little ball in there. I'm just going to keep it in there. No really need to take it out. So guys, here's a little comparison between the OEM detent spring. Let's check out the spring rate on it. It's pretty stiff. Yeah, pretty stiff. Definitely a good amount shorter than the Hybrid Racing one. Let's check out the stiffness on the Hybrid. Definitely stiff too. I'd say they got the same exact spring rate, but when you add that height, definitely should make a big difference. So it's gonna go right back into the 12 mil. Just stick that in there, and then we're gonna put it back on, and the bottom of the spring goes on top of the ball. So now you can just bolt it right back on down. And I'm gonna look up the torque specs for these. I'm not quite sure what they are. So guys, the torque specs for the detent spring bolts is 16 pound-feet. So if you have a torque wrench, definitely grab it, set it at 16 pounds, and torque the bolt down. And then we have 2 more ready to go. So I'm going to do this with 2 hands, but make sure you guys keep them torqued. Now we're taking out the next 2. And we're going to do the same thing with these as we did with the last. Take them out, Swap out the spring. I'm gonna leave the ball in there to be safe. Right there. And now we're gonna swap these out, torque them down to 16 pound-feet. And we're gonna do the same with the last one. And then we're gonna put everything back together. My apologies, guys, but the camera did die as I was putting everything back together. I do have all 3 Detent springs in. All 3 Hybrid Racing Detent springs are in. And let's just say for the amount of money that you spend, like 24 bucks, whatever, 25, I don't even know. It makes a huge difference, and the install is really easy. Literally just have to support your trans, pop them out, and they're fully, easily accessible right below the mount. Without further ado, I'm going to show you guys the difference that it made. I'm definitely really pleased. I have the selector springs as well by Hybrid Racing that I'm throwing in. Definitely made a big difference. Really, best words I can describe it is it stiffens it up a bunch and makes your shifts much more direct. So basically, I'm going through my shifts, first, second, third, etc. Big thing I notice is, especially when I'm going from like second gear to third gear, I don't really have to maneuver it to the middle to reach third. I could really just shoot it up, straight up, and it goes right into third because it's so tight that it brings it right back to center, so you can easily just throw it back into third. But yeah, this is how she's feeling, this is how she's looking. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, reverse. Minty.